What's home if it isn't your heart? How you glow say he isn't a star. Try hold of it, isn't it hard? I am old and I'm thick.
Social media has us convinced we matter. Our opinions matter, our meals matter, our sex matters, our shit matters. Whenever a new world issue pops up somewhere halfway across the planet, a certain subsect of white teenagers feel responsible to fix it because they hate themselves and feel guilty for things that happened when they weren't alive. They obviously aren't to blame as they've been socialized and raised in a culture built on guilt. You should feel bad because your life is good and people are suffering. Still a few thousand years ago, humans only lived in tribes of a few hundred, and I think that's the extent of empathy we have to go around. We care about family, about the people around us, about the people we can actually reach out and touch. Not about sickly Yemeni children. And yeah, I know that sounds bad, but only 15 to 20% of people live in the first world, meaning life is still pretty shit for 80% of people on the planet. I think I get comfort in the fact knowing that if the UK underwent a French invasion, the rest of Europe wouldn't give a fuck either. I think people need to ask themselves, which is more morally reprehensible, the absence of empathy or the faking of it. Most of the empathy you will see on social media is just a performance people use to gain social currency. You can genuinely get places today acting like you care about bullshit online. The social media experiment was started 20 years ago in Silicon Valley, and we're now seeing the results. A spoiled, coddled generation of narcissists. The urge to change the world comes from a disturbing place. Yes, I think things are going to shit. Yes, I think social justice is an understandable, if not extreme, response to it. But did the general populace really have any control over where things are going? Or was everything we do, think, and say planned out by a shadow organization composited of the worldwide elite? You know, scary as the New World Order is, I think they're pretty fucking incompetent. I could have done a better job controlling an entire planet with a car battery, some lemons, and the entire nation of Israel. Communists will complain about billionaires hoarding wealth from the comfort of an air-conditioned home, tweeting on an iPhone running on lithium mined by Congolese child slaves. Oh, billionaires are hoarding wealth, are they? I wonder who's allowing them to do that. Corporations only get away with what we let them get away with. All we need is like a few hundred people to run coordinated domestic attacks on the headquarters and supply chains of a couple FTSE 100 companies, and you know, that would send a big enough message. These companies are money processing organs, and money coming in is dependent on idiots like us being happy. When we're not happy, things change fast. People see the relationship between consumer and company too much as a parasitic one, when in truth it's symbiotic. Your infographic isn't going to stop child labor in the DRC, Ashley. People are desperate, need money, and if you actually went to those mines in the heart of darkness, you'd find a lot of those kids are doing it willingly. The question shouldn't be how do we stop child labor, it should be why is child labor happening? And even if we're asking the right questions, thinking the right way, still not going to be able to do anything about it. So let's at least make sure people at home aren't working in cages. It just relies on you not using Amazon or buying iPhones, which even if someone so noble as yourself decided to do, there are at least 100 people that won't, and hence we're fucked. I see people riled up about shit like this. On the surface, they think their tweet, their vote, their voice is going to change the world, when truthfully they're screaming out towards an unresponsive god. I think subconsciously they want something or someone to come save them. Here's the truth. We're demons, we're filthy pigs that live to consume, and we like it. Politics be damned, gods be damned. Each and every one of us is sustained on the backs of child workers. Prosperity always comes at a price. The only difference is now people are exposed to how heavy that price is. It's all capitalism's fault. This is capitalism. Wow, you're so smart and insightful. I'm sure you have a lot to add to the conversation. Why don't you come over to my house? I've got biscuits, tea, and several CIA torture devices just for you. Last year I watched a show called Sonny and I rewatched it this year. It's about a group of middle schoolers that get lost in the all-encompassing void, only to realize it's not the void. It's just one of infinite dimensions that they've been thrust into. And also some people have powers. Everything about this show, from the abilities the kids gain, to the worlds they travel to the characters, is just bathed in surrealism, which I love, and I think we need more of an entertainment. I can draw a lot of parallels from this show to Evangelion. The main character is a bitch boy, the plot can be confusing at times. But when you take a look at the subtle character development and the themes in the show, coupled with the banger final episode, you start peeling back its layers and getting to its core. The kids are thrust into an unknown situation, and the first thing they do is instantly form power structures and systems to keep themselves in check. All enforced by Cap, a big, burly, monkey-looking guy. His power seems to be the ability to administer punishment on anyone who breaks the rules that have been put in place by the school council. However, we come to learn by the end of the episode that it wasn't Cap who was dishing out these penalties. That's just the way the world works. This is the basic mechanism for every dimension the kids visit. The penalties are different and varying, but the principle is the same. There will always be constants that we do not have the capacity to change as individuals. As more and more of the kids, especially the main character, discover how to use their powers, things become more complex, tensions between the students rise, and they reach a peak when it's discovered the main character has the power to move between worlds, and some MILF shows up. She's revealed to be one of the teachers at the school before it was sent adrift, and takes up a leadership role, resulting in the main character being ostracized for his inability to control his power. The kids, who clearly crave authority, begin following her, the teacher that came out of the sea, in a world where only students can exist, telling them they'll never be able to go home. As the story goes on, the concepts become ever more absurd. A society of monkeys built around baseball, two twin brothers bringing their world to ruin over and over again, all over a single strand of hair, becoming God and conquering death. I don't even know what the fuck this is supposed to be. Even with all the fantastical elements going on at almost all times, the show still has a kind of mundane feel to it. The kids find a way to keep it pushing whatever situation they get into. The world around them is illogical, yet they manage to find some kind of equilibrium within it. The permanence of their situation is really hammered home when the kids actually achieve the goal they've been striving for the whole series. They get to go home through some pseudoscience mumbo-jumbo, only to realize they're immortal copies of themselves. It plays with the idea of quantum immortality and particle physics, all concepts I'm not smart enough to explain to you. Point being that I think the kids perfectly represent Gen Z, and all those different worlds and their fuck-ass rules represent our world perfectly. Trying to come to terms with the world around them, realizing there's nothing much they can do to change the predicament they're in. This all culminates in the one statement by the MC. Yeah, the world is burning. Yeah, we're not going to be able to change it, but we're able to change ourselves, and I think that's the most important thing.